JFK Jr. is still alive, and this video is going to present some of the most convincing, clear evidence of that statement. It's going to start with some scenes from the new JFK Jr. Carolyn Bessette Kennedy show, Love Story. And the first scene is going to have actually who I believe is JFK Jr. himself as the older pilot that they go flying with after they get married. And then it's going to have another scene where the letter is saying, let's go back to the beginning. And then at the very end of the show, the last words of the show are, do not stand beside our coffin and cry, we are not there, I am not there, I did not die. So in terms of prepping the narrative for bringing JFK and Carolyn back onto the world stage, people need to understand why they would have gone into WITSEC, witness protection, and faked their deaths. And so this show presents very clearly how Carolyn was very uncomfortable with all of the media, paparazzi, and just wanted to be together with JFK without all of the heaviness, weightiness, flashing lights that are attached to that. And then on a deeper level, the same forces that took out JFK Jr.'s father were eyeing JFK Jr. as the one who could continue the mission that his father had. And indeed, he has done that, but he's done it from behind the scenes. Then it starts to make more sense as to why JFK Jr. would have gone into WITSEC. And it's also interesting that Carolyn took her sister Lauren with them, and that was the person that she wanted to go behind the scenes, go to Valhalla with. The next video I'm going to have is David Straight, who understands the Q operation in detail. He also understands the difference between the U.S. corporation and the republic, as well as legal versus lawful, that our birth certificates are corporations set up in our name, backing the debt of the U.S. corporation since the bankruptcy of 1933, when all of our gold got transferred to the Bank of International Settlements, the Rothschilds Central Bank of Central Banks in Basel, Switzerland, via the Union Bank of Switzerland, UBS. And that the U.S. did not have any gold until under the Trump administration, the 200-plus generals repatriated 600 military cargo plane loads of gold from the tunnels that run between the deep underground military bases, and a ton of that gold was hidden in the tunnels that ran between the Vatican and Jerusalem, under the Temple Mount and under the Vatican, where there's been a lot of satanic, dark, wicked activity historically, and a lot of that's getting cleaned up. A lot of the kinetic warfare has been in the deep underground military bases and the tunnels connecting them. I'm going to make a video going into depth on that soon. And David Straight claims to have actually seen JFK Jr. and Gene Ho, who's Trump's photographer, take a photo of JFK Jr. on Mount Rushmore back in 2020. And there's also a remarkable George magazine cover that talks about buckle your chin straps through the time loop. George emerges in 2020, and George magazine is being used in a big way to bring forth the disclosure on the restored republic. And who better to bring together, unify the right and the left than JFK Jr., who obviously his father was a Democrat, but now he's working with the Republicans, and what a bridge to bring healing to our fractured nation and announce the restoration of our constitutional republic and a new financial system that is actually based on money, with assets backing it: gold, silver, platinum, 39 other precious minerals and metals, and the doing away with, the burning down of the debt for labor system. And the last piece of this is, who is John Galt? And I'm going to play a clip from Atlas Shrugged, which I believe is a head nod to Kennedy coming forth and being part of the emergency broadcast that will help to wake up the people to what has really been going on, to unveil the synagogue of Satan, and to announce the birth of our restored republic, all in God's perfect timing. If this all makes sense to you, share it out, share it with your networks, and learn learn about this stuff so you can talk about it in your personal relationships and help accelerate the awakening of humanity from Satan's season of deception. Enjoy.
I am day, transcending night. Do not stand by my grave and cry. I am not there. I did not die.
Roll credits.
Q was the most trusted. There's only 200 naval pilots at any given moment on the face of this planet that are Q capable. They are the most trusted. They can carry a nuclear weapon. No one else can. I heard that going off in my ear. Yeah, that's what happens when you talk about Q. Q is 6 military intelligence agencies led by the President of the United States of America. And a very, very special man that is helping, who currently serves as the Vice President of the United States of America. And it was kind of fun to be on that helicopter that dropped him off on Mount Rushmore so he could stand on George Washington's head. Yeah. You're welcome. What's that?
Who's the vice president?
John F. Kennedy Jr. I got the privilege of being on Don Jr.'s helicopter with Gene Ho. Gene Ho is President Trump's photographer, and John Jr. on July the 2nd of last year. And we just flew him up on top of Mount Rushmore, dropped him off and let him walk out there, and Gene took a picture. It's pretty cool. Yeah, it's coming.
She is gorgeous. Morning. Morning. Feel like logging some hours? Beautiful day for flying. What do you say?
Let's do it.
For years, you've asked, who is John Galt? You've asked that question in despair and resignation as factories closed, goods became scarce, jobs disappeared. Your lives are becoming more difficult as the life force of your world is draining away. You have asked that question without expecting an answer. I'm here to answer it. This is John Galt speaking. Mr. Thompson won't tell you the truth about the crisis in your world. I will. Have you noticed that as everything around you seems to decline, one thing still grows? It is the power of your rulers. None of their plans and directives have solved your problems or made your life better. The only result has been their increased control over you at the cost of your freedom. Do you know why? You gave them the power. They called for your sacrifice, and you thought it was noble. They said if you worked for yourself and your family, that you were selfish and uncaring, and they made you feel ashamed. They denounced the leaders of industry as greedy exploiters, the Ellis Wyatts, the Hank Reardons, and again, you agreed. And then you ask, why did they and others like them disappear? I took them from you. Their achievements flowed from their creative minds. Once they understood that the attempt to control their work was an attempt to control their minds, they left. The people on strike worked for themselves, for their own vision of what was possible. When they recognized the honor they deserved, they rebelled against the guilt you wanted them to feel for their success. You counted on them to keep producing, to keep thinking, even as you denounced them as selfish. I showed them they were being punished for their own virtues. And I showed them how evil that is. I made it my mission to help these heroes say no. All evil needs to win is the consent of good people. They have joined me to freely produce, trade, cooperate, and compete in a place where the rights of all are protected. Do not try to find us. Do not try to bargain for our return. Get out of our way. To everyone within the range of my voice, you now have a choice to make. If you decide to support the notion of sacrifice enforced by the state, your game is up. Your world is in a downward spiral, and you will ride it down to destruction. But if you share the values of our strike, if you believe that your life is a sacred possession for you to make the most of, if you want to live by the judgment of your own mind, not edicts from the state, then follow our lead. Do not support your own oppressors. Stop letting the system exploit you. Form your own communities on the frontiers of your crumbling world. Your rulers hold you by your endurance to carry the burdens they impose, by your generosity when you hear cries of despair, and above all, by your innocence which cannot grasp the depths of their evil. The world you are living in is the world they wanted. Leave them to it. Those who have left you are eager to build a better world, a world of freedom and opportunity, a world based on mutual respect. In that world, you will rise in the morning with the spirit you knew in childhood, the spirit of eagerness and adventure, and the confidence that the world is what it is and is there for you to discover. In that world, you will not receive alms, nor pity, nor forgiveness of sins, but honor, respect, and justice. Don't let the fire go out spark by irreplaceable spark in confusion and despair. Be sure of your path. The world you desire can be won. It exists. It is real. It is possible. It is yours.
Documentary is very interesting, but it makes people think, because this, never seen before, talks about the secrecy of JFK Jr. It came out about the same time that George got his United States trademark. Now, 6 months before that, this kind of a strange video. You know what I'm talking about? Anyway, Greg, roll it!
Q is 6 military intelligence agencies led by the President of the United States of America. And a very, very special man that is helping, who currently serves as the Vice President of the United States of America. And it was kind of fun to be on that helicopter that dropped him off on Mount Rushmore so he could stand on George Washington's head. Yeah. You're welcome. What's that?
Who's the vice president?
John F. Kennedy Jr. I got the privilege of being on Don Jr.'s helicopter with Gene Ho, Gene Ho is President Trump's photographer, and John Jr. on July the 2nd of last year. And we just flew him up on top of Mount Rushmore, dropped him off and let him walk out there, and Gene took a picture. It's pretty cool.